Everybody, it's RCK, and I'm glad to have you back here again for our Omniscience game that we have going on, the Noob Aves, and the game was called. We will not view every battle here, just some of the more interesting ones or losses, and then probably after the 3 turns is up, or after we look through kind of things that have happened over 3 turns, we'll probably analyze where the nations are, where they'll probably look to expand afterwards and whatnot. And we'll see from there. So we have a battle with TNN. Of course, we're going to see a lot of battles here very soon, just because of the fact that everyone's expanding at the moment, and seeing them expand with the City Lord or City Lord and then 3/12 Warriors is very interesting here. I mean, this might even be worth looking at because they did end up taking out 24 Long Dead. Yeah, sure, Long Dead aren't that, but when you have 4 units, I mean, that is pretty impressive. We do get to see kind of what they have going on. I don't exactly remember if we saw the TNN Bless, but we can check that out right now. Shock resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance, defense skill. Okay, so they're up at 19 defense skill. And magical weapons, he's at 24. It's because of the Holy 3. That is what it is. Of course, the Prophet there, being able to banish all those undead. Here we have a very easy fight. Wolf Tribe versus the Hastades. So pretty decent. I mean, they have a lot of archers. Of course, the tower shields are going to do great against archers. They also have javelins, which is really good. And these units do not have shields, so they're able to be hit fairly easily with the javelins. Those 2 equipoises are doing fairly well as well, getting 11 kills on that. Very nice for them. Wonder if they're on an attack rear move. So here we have the forces of Hinnom. Of course, those half giants and giant warriors are really, really strong versus most things. So this is still the initial force, I think, taking out pretty. I mean, it's just militia and heavy infantry, so it's not too tough of independent, but still one nonetheless. No losses. That's pretty nice for Hinnom. A ping here from Pangea using a Black Harpy to ping a barbarian province, seeing there is 31 in total. Another pinging a Bone Tribe province. This is a very good tactic of not only seeing where the troops are set up in the battle, but also to see how many of each that they have, not just relying on your scouting reports. So we have Minotaurs, we have White Centaurs here. Of course, we remember Pangea took a very, very strong bless, taking out a heavy cav province. Very, very few heavy cav, just 2 in total. So very, very weak heavy cav province, but taken nonetheless. We see Macon here, or Macone, taking out another heavy infantry militia province, very weak, 32 troops, with the, this is his initial force as well, so pretty strong force at that. We see Yomi does not have his Dione yet moving out. This is still the Bandit Colony force that we saw in the previous episode, but they were able to find another weak province for them to take, which was very lucky for him. Here we see TNG. Of course, those nobles do really, really well. I think he could expand with them, but this is his... no, we see barbarians here too. Archer's Footmen, I think that's the initial force, and then he made 5 warriors. Don't know where the barbarians came from unless he's making them... I don't know, maybe he set their turn, not entirely sure about that. Here we see the Hellherdlings, very, very strong. Helheim also took a pretty strong bless, just like Pangea, and we expect them to be kind of the most powerful in the early game, more than likely taking the most provinces as well. Fighting Deer Tribe, fairly weak, but that is 4 of them. Deer Tribe, they do have javelins and they have arrows, so could have been dangerous, but a Hell-blessed Helheim, that's a little different. Still a good fight for him. And here we see that Helheim attacked, but his Vanhurst, his leader here, died. So he was defeated there. Very unfortunate. 30 barbs is a lot with only 4 troops. Getting surrounded, dropping that defense skill down, having those heavy hitting barbs start swinging at you with very low defense skill is going to be rather difficult for you. Looks like his glamour is already down. He's been hit for 3 points already. He was hit for 5 more, so he's just been chipped down. And there he goes. Yeah, very unfortunate there. If that Vanhurst would have lived, I do feel that Helheim would have won that. Because some of the barbarians were already routing at that point. But unfortunate that the Vanhurst did die there. Here we see that TNG, it looks like they bought a mercenary group. I forget what the foul spawn one is called. I recently just bought it in a different game just because it was cheap chaff I could use. But interestingly enough, they ended up taking out 15 of these militia and 2 light infantry here, dropping the total down to about half of what the initial independent force had there in that province. So more than likely he can easily move a small group in and take the rest of that. He's only got 21 troops left. Makes me wonder how much he paid for the foul spawn. I think they're very, very cheap. They're not expensive at all. We see another Black Harpy ping. So that is the third ping from Pangea that we see here. We see, so this is the main Tirnanog force. Now the other group was a expansion force that he's made from his cap. It was very, very small. As a lord and 3 warriors, but this was the initial group, I feel. 16 heavy infantry, 12 slingers, and he lost 2 and 2. I mean, these are not his sacreds. I mean, they're decent, but they're not great. And slingers. So yeah, I mean, pretty good. This force can continue to expand, even though they only lost 4 troops. So very nice for Tirnanog. They were able to double expand. So we see Russ using his scout to ping provinces. Now this is a very large Makata province here with 73 troops and all. Overall, they're very, very weak. But I mean, this is going to be a lot of rock, sticks and stones. This is going to be a lot of sticks and stones, arrows. So I guess depends on how well you're able to combat archer type units. We see here that Rus was able to get his hands on a crystal sorceress province here, so that's going to be actually very nice for him because one of the tough things for Rus is, yeah, they have those decent mages they have, but usually they end up with Astral 1 on them. They won't have any real other way to get many Astral 1s, and then because of that, you know, they can get magic dueled fairly easily, and they'll take out their very expensive mages. But if you have tons and tons of Astral 1s in the army, it's less likely that your opponent is going to be magic dueling you. So that is going to be a plus. Maybe he'll be a little bit, or maybe he'll be a little bit more offensive with some of his astral mages or astral random mages. I'll have to see. I have to look at that again. It's been a while since I've seen a Rus. Statistics, pretenders. Yeah, so they will always have an astral 1 on them. But Air 3 is pretty sweet. So, and then you have nothing else. So these guys can random Astral 1. Are there more Astral 1? So there are more Astral 1 randoms. Yeah, it's still dangerous, but if you have a lot of Astral 1s, it's less likely someone's going to be magic dueling you. So yeah, that's what we have going on there. We see Hinnom going south, hit 42, which I said was going to be a little bit more. More than likely, he's going to hit 60 next. Yomi taking a forest, getting those resources to his cap. Let's see. TNG going east towards Yomi. So we already have 2 people going straight in Yomi's direction there, kind of cutting him off. Pangea took the forest at 121, which was very low income, and then 131, a little bit better being in plains. Then pinged the other provinces around him. Ermor's taken 119 and 123. Makes me wonder why. Well, okay, because there's Jade Priests and stuff there. Still, I think he still could have took 104 fairly early, because I think that would have gave him a lot of resources early on, because this is just pulling. I mean, it's not how much is really given to the cap, because you'd have to figure out how much it originally had, and after you got these 2, how much it added to it. But anyway, there's 14 here and 16 here, whereas in the forest it has 49, so it's going to be able to pull a lot more from the forest than either of these 2 planes. And like, these aren't best. I mean, 45 and 50. I'm surprised he's not going for 129. Instead, he moved east to 119. I figured if he was going to go in that direction of hitting 123, he was going to hit both of these relatively quickly. But I don't know. I don't know. So I already talked about TNG. Of course, we saw that Helheim did lose that expansion there at 21 as another cap province or cap circle province. But he did win 23. More than likely, he's going to hit 10 next. Who else? Macon, just taking more cap circle. Like I said, I don't know. I guess that is a lot of lion tribe there. So that's more than likely the reason why he didn't go for 67 sooner. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But we do see that whoever's the person who has the most provinces right now, because they did succeed at their second party expanding here, was TNN, leaving them with 4 provinces. That's very nice. They do have a lizard shaman province there to their right. That's going to be very sweet for them. Along with those 3 farmlands, that is pretty nice. Okay, so that is what we have. Of course, since Pangea didn't hit 124, instead hit 131. Surprised they didn't go for 124 there. Huh, interesting. So that is turn 4. Let's go check out turn 5. There we go. No, I do not want to delete. Shit. Okay, let's play it. I gotta click it again, I think. 5. There we go. So we have 2 messages, one from TNG. Hi there, I'm using WOT5E to expand early on with a blast consisting of air shield, attack and defense plus strength. My pretender is an awake statue of war. Oh, so he has an awake pretender there. He can research and summon some that's where he got the barbarians from. Makes sense now. So that can help a bit. These are Warriors of the 5 Elements, WOT5E, Warriors of the 5 Elements. That is his sacred. So now we see TNN. Hey, forgot you asked for messages. Things are going all right here so far. Not a very fast expansion yet, but I should ramp up for a few more Tuatha and another City Lord rolling around, or a pair of City Lords for speed. Helheim is my neighbor to the north. Seems admissible. Maybe I can get some hammers in trade from them. I'm hopping up to construction 2 and starting getting owl quills out, and then I'll go for alteration and enchantment to both buff my invertible raiders. I'm pretty new at playing elves, but I hope that I have fun doing some raids and kiting thugs in a multiplayer setting. Cool. Cool. So here we see Macon's another successful expansion here. Helheim taking out those barbarians that he failed to do last turn. I like how he said, hold on, TNG said, a not very fast expansion, but he is the fastest expanding so far. So that's interesting. Here's the Warrior of the 5 Elements, just 10, and then a priest that's cast Blessing on them, doing a very decent job. This is Makone's second expansion group, 9 troops in total, but having 4 Giganti hoplites, so that's pretty good. Was able to take out the hoplites here, only losing 1 of their human-sized slaves there. And here we do see one of these Dione taking out a Jaguar province. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on here. Of course, he gets his wolves coming in. We'll see. We'll watch him bless himself. Okay, so morale, shock resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance, reinvig +1, regeneration, mountain survival, and luck. Cool. Cool. Okay. Alright. It's pretty decent, I think. I'm not very knowledgeable of Yomi, but I'm sure he'll do a good job here against the Jaguars. I mean, 22 protection, 24 protection. Of course, that Earth level 3 is getting that boosted up a little bit. Then regeneration on top of that, so regenerating 5 hit points a turn is not bad. Of course, the rocks and whatnot, the slings are doing a pretty bad job just due to how high his protection is. Very few is getting through. Fear causing the route there. And he won. Good. We see the Helheim player taking out a very small heavy calf province. Very good. Pangea fighting militia and heavy infantry. Tianchi. Oh, that's an interesting independent. You don't see that one too often. I've seen it before, but it's kind of a more rare one. So yeah, he's water 2 with a bunch of gems, and you have a Jotun Axeman with him. Alright. Lost 2 warriors of the 5 elements there. It's unfortunate. Or more attacking the independence of 1, just a very small heavy infantry province here. Losing 4 levies and 1 hastati, but winning overall. The Equites putting in majority of the work here. Of course, they're very strong. I do believe they have a decent bless. It's not like crazy. Here we see this is the province that Rus pinged last turn. The skin shifters are fairly strong. I guess they wouldn't have been too great against those mass archers, but I mean, they got the job done. It's just having all these other units here to kind of take shots and whatnot. If it was focused on skin shifters, it could have gone worse, I feel. Even though they do get their second form, I mean, they just don't have much protection against all mass archers. That's the only thing. But I mean, you brought units that had spears and shields. You brought your own archers, and it's going to be, archers are tough for these guys to deal with as well, just because they have no protection at all, and just very, very weak, very low hit points at 5, you know. We have Tian Chi taking that lizard shaman province that we spoke about last turn, very nice. We have Hinnom taking another province with one of those groups. Very good. No losses again. Very efficient expansions as well. White Centaurs. 10 White Centaurs taking out 30 Barbarians. Is 10 too much? Probably. I don't know. 30 is a lot. Depends. So Helheim able to expand twice again. Very good. Looks like he needs to pick up a Hell Hurdling there at 11. Tianchi taking Province 5. Not that great of a farmland, but a farmland nonetheless. Ermor still taking some more of the cap circle he has here. There's a good reason for him to go from 97 to 105, take that Kappa province, and that will allow him to then take 102. That would be interesting. McConaughey has kind of blocked himself here. Wonder if he's going to hit 89 there and get that steel ovens. That would be very, very sweet for him for sure. It looks like Tianchi has left, so Tianchi was not going to be able to grab 89. Anyone else? So Roos taking that forest there. Very nice. More than likely is going to take this farmland here at 80. Next. Yomi's kind of slow to get off. They did have some problems when it came to getting their Dione on the right turn. That's what's going on with them. It looks like, his Great Sage, of course, is awake just due to the fact of him already having regeneration. We saw in that Bless. Did not think about that. So he did take a Great Sage. Very cool. So more than likely, I don't know, he could go for 45. Probably 36 though. Very small. It looks like his other expansion group went back into the capital, I guess, to pick up more units. What else we got going on? Macomb just taking another cap circle province, and then they took 93, which has a halfway in-house, which gives them 10 gold per turn. Not that great because of how low the population is anyway, but I mean, it has 10 additional gold he didn't have before. Is there anyone else that I'm missing? Forgot to look at Pangea. See, they took 100, and they took 136. Yeah, Yomi is going fairly slow, and that I think overall really hurt him here early on, just because he's not really gonna be able to expand much out of his cap circle. Honestly, I mean, that's all he has at the moment. It's turn 5. Everyone else is already bordering him or bordering his cap circle. Hinnom, Pangea, TNG. Helheim is not gone there yet, but I do not think that Yomi is going to be able to get over here fast enough before Helheim is able to expand over here. Doubtful Helheim will expand in 27 here. This does have death. No, it might be. That's his dominion. Heavy infantry, so more than likely he's going to hit 13. Just because heavy cab and whatnot versus 3 hell hurdlings. I mean, there's no telling. It's kind of more of a riskier play if you only have 3. So yeah, very interesting there. Okay, so let's go check out turn 6. There we go. Lots of messages. Hey, hey. Is it on Ermor here? Lots of large provinces next to me, so I plan on securing them with my non-elven heavy cavalry. Problem I see is Helheim and TNN next door, so I assume they will join forces like evil elves and underwater nations typically do with each other. This is my first time playing squishy humans in EA, so hopefully I will stun the world and pull off a victory, or at least a cool battle or two from my own sick and sadistic pleasure. Goals right now are Conj 5, Dom 3, and Evo 6. Cool. Interesting turn. Diplo-wise, may contact Macon in my south. We got into it a bit, deciding borders, but eventually came to see I, and I got a little more out of the bargain than I might have otherwise. Now we're looking at an app 3 and a prosperous relationship for the moment. We both eyeing Helheim as someone to watch out for as the game develops. Expansion continues to be slow and likely remain so. I have difficulty moving throughout the terrain. That does make sense. He has a lot of mountains and a lot of forest around my capital. I'm hoping not to end too much on the back foot over the next few turns. This is Yomi. The demons of Yomi rejoice. Entirely by accident and no plan whatsoever on my own. Fitting there was enough gold to recruit a second day only last turn instead of a sorcerer or Namaniri. Our research into Alt 3 will be complete next turn as well. That's going to be really good for him. Opening access to Iron Skin. Yeah, that's going to be very sweet. Then we have a one from Hinnom. Thinking about moving into 72 and hopefully bumping with the Monkini. But I also thinking about cutting off Yomi to set borders. Yeah, that'd be good. So here we have a lot of battles here. Let's see, hold on, let's check this. I got 3 pings while I was sitting here talking. Okay. So we see that the expansion force did look like it picked up some more troops at the capital and moved out. So Yomi was able to take another capital province or cap circle province this turn. We have some Avite charioteers. I really do like these. I've used these for expansion before. They do fairly well. Taking Horse Tribe province. Yeah, they lost 2, but they're pretty good. Warriors of the 5 Elements. Only 10 of them taking on a heavy cav province. Very interesting to see that. Oh, for sure, they're very interesting. See, they didn't take more losses on that break on the lances there, because that's 13 heavy cav. That's a lot of lances that go into these human troops on the ground. Very interesting. The Hell Herdlings taking another province. TNN taking a Fireblog province. So it's kind of their own troops versus their own troops. Roos taking that cave that was north of his capital with the Zots in it. Okay, I can see that's not too bad. Tianchi taking Opolos province. Dione, very small heavy infantry province. White Centaurs doing their thing. Macon, Helheim. Hanam pinging a province this turn, pinging in a heavy cap province to see what's inside. It looks like those Meros are part of a mercenary group, but they were used as chaff in this instance, and they did fairly good job as being chaff. I mean, they even got a pretty high amount of kills on top of that, so that was pretty nice. So Tianog took another province. Ermor, they did go for that capital province, like I mentioned. Securing that will more than likely also secure them that lake that's beside it. So that's very nice. Makone taking Jaguar province. Pangea taking another one. Ermor. Hinnom taking the cave. I have to remember where that one was. I do not remember. Oh, so they did decide to kind of cut Yomi off from the looks of it. Yeah, because he decided whether he wanted to go for 72 or cut Yomi off, and he looks like he went for he looked to cut Yomi off. Interesting. So now Yomi does have 2 Dione though, so that's not bad. Tinian's not doing too bad either. Taking 108 is pretty nice. Hopefully he'll be able to take 101, giving him Amazons. That'd be pretty sweet for him. Or more than likely getting this province here next, I feel, just because it being better than a swampland. Roos kind of slow, only having 5 provinces in all here. Things are looking pretty good for TNG, Ermor, Pangea, of course. And yeah, things are looking pretty cool. So let's go ahead and look at the map overall. So we have our province. Let's see who is on top. It's not Ermor. TNG is probably in second or third. TNG and Pangea have the same amount of provinces. Along with, is that Helheim too? Yeah, Helheim. So TNG, Pangea, Helheim, and TNG, Pangea, TNN, and Helheim all have the same amount of provinces right now. Then we have followed by Ermor, Yomi, and Hinnom. Ermor, Yomi, and Hinnom all have the same amount. And then Roos with the least. And then Macon with the most. Very interesting there. Cool. Income-wise, who is on top? Ermor is currently on top with TNG. Gem income-wise, we see Macon going up by a lot here. Very interesting. We'll have to check out the things that he has. Research, not as important right now, but Helheim is the highest. Some people. So, from the looks of it, these here that kind of started going like straight up like that, I'm sure they had awake expanders. Now that gray one's me. Now we're all here. Interesting. No, I think it matters on how much they started with, being their magic skills. But some of these people do have awake expanders like TNG does. It looks like Helheim does. It's hard to tell who else. Yomi does for sure, and we see that here through his graph. As far as who has the most research right now is Helheim. Then look at all of them. Dominion don't really care too much about that. We see that Tianchi and who is this second one? Tianchi and Macon have the most troops. And that is what we have going on right now, guys. That was our turn 6. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. I did want to see what Macon, no, it was Macon who had the most gym income. Let's see what he's got going on here. So 1, 2, 6, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's making 10, 13. Making 13. Cool. So that's turn 6, guys. See you later.